It's kind of funny how some of the world's biggest brands hide what they really are, right in plain sight. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the best to ever do it, Red Bull. Because what you think you're buying, well, it's almost certainly not what they're actually selling. Okay, let's just cut right to the chase with the most insane number. A can of Red Bull, the one you pay maybe $3.50 for, costs exactly 9 cents to make. That's it, 9 cents for the actual liquid in the can. So where on earth does the rest of that money go? So when you look at it like this, the breakdown is just wild. A measly 3% of your money pays for the drink itself. The other 97%? That's just everything else. And that right there is the big question we're going to unpack. What in the world is everything else? What are you really buying? To figure this out, we've got to look at the company itself. And what you find is this total paradox. For a company that's a global giant, Red Bull is shockingly, almost unbelievably simple. Just think about their product line. Red Bull has, maybe 17 products in total? You've got the original, some sugar-free versions, and a handful of flavors. Now look at their biggest rival, Monster. They have over 150 different drinks. It's crazy. Red Bull's focus is just laser sharp. And believe it or not, the simplicity gets even weirder. Their global headquarters isn't in London or New York. It's tucked away in this tiny little Austrian mountain village. And here's the real kicker. Red Bull doesn't even make its own drink. They pay a fruit juice company called Rauch to do all of it. For decades, the entire world's supply came from just 2 factories. All right, so we've got this puzzle, right? The drink costs pennies to make, and the company is incredibly lean. So where do the billions in revenue actually go? Well, it turns out the answer has been there since the very beginning, in the company's origin story. Here's the thing you have to understand. From day one, Red Bull was never a beverage company. It was a marketing company that just so happened to sell a drink. So the guy who started it all, Dietrich Mateschitz, he wasn't some beverage genius. He was a marketing manager for a toothpaste company. On a business trip in Asia, he stumbled upon this Thai energy drink called Krating Dang, which, you guessed it, translates to Red Bull. He didn't invent a product, he found one. Then he spent years tweaking it, not to make it healthier, but to make it taste right for people in the West. Carbonated and a little less syrupy. And his launch strategy? Oh, it was pure marketing gold. First, he priced it high, like a premium liquor, and stuck it in bars to give it this exclusive, cool vibe. Then, he used guerrilla marketing. He paid students to drive around in Red Bull cars and just handed out free cans to other university students during finals week, and to taxi drivers working late shifts. In a small country like Austria, word of mouth just exploded. Okay, but that word of mouth trick, that's great for a small country, but it's not going to make you a global giant. Mateschitz knew he needed a much, much bigger idea. He realized he couldn't just sell a product, he had to own an entire concept, peak human performance. And this right here, this is the simple, powerful idea that became the psychological engine for the entire Red Bull empire. The goal was to literally rewire your brain so that every time you saw that logo, you'd subconsciously connect it with the absolute pinnacle of human ability. Now, back then, they didn't have the cash to sponsor, the biggest sports stars in the world. So they got smart. They went after the absolute best athletes in these niche, high-adrenaline sports that looked amazing on camera, but were still kind of underdeveloped. People like canoeist Jessica Fox or the motocross daredevil Robbie Madison. They basically became the patrons of extreme sports. And this led them to create this incredible 4-step playbook for total domination. Step 1, sign the best athletes. Step 2, create your own insane events with the biggest prize money. Step 3, naturally, all the other top athletes show up to compete, and boom, step 4, Red Bull becomes the standard, the de facto ruler of that entire sport. And guess what? It totally worked. You think of cliff diving. You think of the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Freeride mountain biking? It's Red Bull Rampage, the gnarliest event there is. Kiteboarding? The Red Bull King of the Air. In dozens of sports, the most legendary moments now happen right in front of a giant Red Bull logo. It's brilliant. So after years of doing this, the company got so big, so rich, that they could finally take that playbook and aim it at one of the biggest, most glamorous sports on the planet, Formula One. And the price they paid to get in? It's almost unbelievable. Just $1. See, back in 2004, Ford was bleeding hundreds of millions trying to run its Jaguar F1 team. They were so desperate to get rid of it, they sold the entire thing, the factory, the staff, everything, to Red Bull for a single buck. But what they did next is what's truly mind-blowing. They poured money in, hired the smartest people in the sport, and turned that $1 failure into one of the most dominant teams in the history of Formula One. Suddenly, their brand wasn't just a sponsor on the sidelines. It was a winner, a champion, on the biggest stage in motorsport. And all of this brings us back to what Red Bull really is. It's not a beverage company. It is a global athletics and media machine. Its whole business is to manufacture real-world moments of peak human performance, all of it funded by the crazy profits from a 9-cent energy drink. So think about it. The next time you grab a can of Red Bull, what are you actually buying? Are you just buying a drink? Are you paying $3 for a tiny little piece of the action, a share of the world record jump, a piece of the championship-winning race car? Because that, right there, that is the billion-dollar question.